room for our review. We just got through watching Backdraft 1991
Yes.
for our 1990 and 1995 random movie picks.
We are over halfway.
Oh, we're easily
Over halfway.
7 films done.
Yep.
That leaves us only 5.
I know.
We reviewed Rob Roy. If you haven't seen that review, that should be up some point on YouTube, along with a number of other reviews that we've done in this series. So definitely check that out. But if you haven't seen it, go see it. Rob Roy's great. Backdraft. This is a good night, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is a good night. We've done Rob Roy and Backdraft back to back.
All 3 nights that we've done this.
Everything's been good.
It's been pretty great.
Except Highlander 3.
But we still had fun with it.
It's always fun. It's always fun. So, Backdraft 1991 is the second pick for tonight. And Die Hard's playing.
Perfect.
We did not pick Die Hard because it's not 1990 to 1991.
Come down LA, have a couple drinks, have a little fun.
Have a little fun. Have a laugh.
Have a laugh.
That's right. So, Backdraft, 1991, directed by Ron Howard, starring Billy Baldwin, William, if you want to be proper about it.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, J.T. Walsh, Scott Glenn, Jason Gedrick, so many. Rebecca De Mornay, Jeffrey Jason Lee.
Not Lance Henderson.
No, you confused those two earlier.
I know.
Certainly.
I do.
So
those 2 guys.
I don't know that I need to do a plot description of
No.
Backdraft, because if you haven't seen Backdraft, where the hell have you been since 1991, honestly? But essentially, Backdraft is the story of Chicago firefighters. We open up with Kurt Russell as the dad, dying in a fire. Stephen Baldwin, as a kid, sees him die in the fire. His brother is Bull, Stephen McCaffrey. He is what is his name? McCaffrey. His last name's McCaffrey. I don't remember. But
what is this actual name of this movie?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's not important.
Yeah.
Because he's the main character of the movie, who is the least important character of the movie.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Sure.
So, Backdraft follows Billy Baldwin's character as he enters into being a firefighter. He's assigned to his brother's Engine 17 Chicago, which is apparently the big engine in Chicago, the one that responds to the most fires. And he's not real fond of this. Him and Jason Gedrick are good friends from the Fire Academy, whatever it's called. So they both get assigned to Engine 17, which is Kurt Russell's engine, who is Billy Baldwin's bigger brother, Stephen McCaffrey. And they are responding to fires, and there's an arsonist on the loose who's killing people with fires that put themselves out. So ultimately we discover that the fires, Robert De Niro also in this movie as the arson investigator, Donald Sutherland as a former arsonist who's kind of a small part but important part of this movie, who kind of reveals who he thinks the fireman is, who is starting these fires. Spoiler, it's a fireman starting these fires. So ultimately we figure out that Scott Glenn's character, Adcox, Axe, is starting these fires to kill off a group who has been profiting off of firefighters' deaths and closing fire stations. So ultimately we get to the point where there's a showdown between Steve McCaffrey, Kurt Russell's character, and Adcox, Scott Glenn's character. But that's kind of the plot. I'm not going to go into it pretty heavily. It's fleshed out, but it's not the most complicated plot in the history of cinema. But Ron Howard directing does a very good job directing. The fire is the biggest character in this movie, to be honest. They give the fire kind of
it's like a monster.
It is. It's a monster that they fight against.
Yeah.
And it's every scene with the fire, very significant practical effects in this film. Man. And the fire is amazing. They do a great job. with the fire and the scenes in which there's firefighting. The fire looks very real because I think it is real for the most part. There's some CG fire here and there, but it's not significant. This is pre-Jurassic Park, so we can forgive some CG on this. But overall, the fire looks really good, and the set pieces are epic.
Yeah.
To be honest, the set pieces are very epic. So that's kind of the plot of Backdraft. Arsonist discovers a firefighter. That's the plot. De Niro's character is fantastic in this movie. It's a small role, really, for De Niro. He's
kind
maybe on screen for about 20 minutes, I'd say, of the movie.
But his role is significant to the story.
It's definitely significant.
And I mean, it was. Every time I watch this movie, I love it more and more.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, you go back and you're listening to even Hans Zimmer's score.
Zimmer scored it.
Yeah, early scores. You start to hear a little bit of The Rock.
Yeah,
you could hear a little bit of the themes in that, and. It's just so much goodness in this movie. It's a fun time.
It is
to watch.
It's a fun movie with a lot of significant, not fun themes. To be honest, people are dying in this movie, and it's all because of. And ultimately, the movie is about firefighters, but it goes back to corruption in the government with Chicago, which is an apt theme still these days.
Yeah, that's that's
Illinois
Chicago.
In general.
Yeah, Chicago politics.
Yeah, Chicago politics for sure. So it kind of goes back to that with J.T. Walsh's character being kind of the ringleader of this.
He's a great cast for
Guy's great. He died in 1998.
Yeah, he always kind of played that sleazeball kind of.
Yeah, he had a look about him that said douchebag.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all the performances are really good in the movie. I'd say, Billy Baldwin's character is pretty fleshed out, honestly.
Yeah.
And, to be honest, Stephen McCaffrey, Kurt Russell's character, Ad Cox, Scott Gunn's character, not super fleshed out, but enough to make the movie reasonably watchable. De Niro's character, we get a little bit of fleshing out of him, but it's not a lot. It's just the Donald Sutherland character kind of plays with the De Niro character to flesh him out a little bit.
Sutherland
is gross in this movie.
His scenes are just, you were just locked in on Sutherland.
He's amazing, but he's super gross because he's just a terrible person. He's an arsonist, obviously.
He's so sick.
Yeah, it's gross.
He plays it well.
He does it very well, just like he did every role.
Yeah,
exactly. Donald Sutherland's great. My favorite role of his is Kelly's Heroes as Oddball. It's amazing if you've never seen Kelly's Heroes. But yeah, the whole movie has really good performances overall. Jennifer Jason Leigh, I think, is probably the least performance in the movie because she doesn't really have a lot to do.
No,
she's kind of the romantic love interest of Billy Baldwin's character. But ultimately, she has basically just one thing to do in the movie is to get these files from her boss, J.T. Walsh, and give them to Billy Baldwin's character.
Just figure out where the corruption is.
Yeah, and Rebecca De Mornay is also in this, playing Stephen McCaffrey's wife, who's separated. Good role, small role.
Gives you the emotional attachment.
He's got a son. And so, when he dies, spoiler alert, it's very sad because he has a son and a separated wife who does still care for him, but not wanting to be with him because Kurt Russell's character is my favorite character in the movie. I mean, that's crazy to say. I know because it's Kurt Russell. Yeah, he's awesome, but his character is so focused on firefighting that he can't focus on anything else. Yeah. It's like
his family life suffers from.
Yeah, his family life suffers, and it's shown in the movie.
That's why his wife is can't have that. So
Yeah.
you got to pick one or the other, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
And I think that's where the movie kind of suffers a little bit, too.
It
In
does.
the middle, it kind
gets
of
a little slow.
drags. Yeah.
A little slow in those more dramatic scenes.
But you're trying to build an emotional connection. I get that,
But luckily, it doesn't go on for too long. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't like sit on those areas. It does kind of. It hits those areas for 5 to 10 minutes and then kind of moves on to the firefighting, which is what the movie's about. And I have no complaints with the movie.
no. Well, I have one.
Okay.
I really would have liked to seen an axe fight between Axe and Bull.
Axe and Bull should have
They
had their
both
axe fight.
Had the axes ready,
But they
in hand.
respected each other
They
too
did.
much.
But it would have been so. That would have been like, I kept bringing up like, God, this is like a Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
With the explosions and stuff, in that warehouse scene. That would have been like typical Michael Bay
Oh yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So,
They pulled
but it's
back
Ron
on that.
Howard.
They pulled back on that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
respect each other. They're old friends, so they don't feel like they should have to fight each other.
And they wanted to keep Kurt Russell's character wanted to keep everything locked down. Didn't
Yeah.
want the department to, get a bad name. So,
Yeah, he asked
he
Stephen
stayed.
Baldwin as he's dying to not reveal that Adcox, Scott Glenn's character, was the one who did all the arson, even though De Niro had pretty much figured it out, but De Niro kind of honors that request as well by speaking at the funeral of McCaffrey and Adcox. He kind of keeps it back, but they at least nail J.T. Walsh for what he did that caused like the death of firefighters and the shutdown of stations, etc., for profit. So, typical Chicago politician, basically.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like nothing has changed since this movie.
No.
It is identical to what's going on
It
right
holds
now.
up till this day.
Yeah, still works.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about the score a little bit. Hans Zimmer scored this. It's an earlier Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think it gets a
very-
little corny at times, to be honest.
I kept bringing up The Rock
Yeah.
in this movie. And the scores are very, very similar.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I agree.
Dun, 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 that type of.
Yeah, and it's like with Zimmer, it's the same as John Williams. It's like this score and this score sound exactly the same, but of course they are going to. That's how they direct
Just
orchestras.
Little deviations that set them apart.
Of course, Zimmer is honestly one of the best working composers these days. I mean, John Williams is like 90 years old. He's not doing much anymore. So Zimmer is kind of like the guy these days. So I love Zimmer. You love Zimmer.
Yeah, he didn't overtake the movie, which Zimmer can tend to do with his scores.
Yeah,
They can be a little bit too like booming,
especially
at times.
with Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah.
Nolan knows how to do a sound mix for the life of him. But Zimmer does what he needs to do in this movie.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And like the acting in general, I think we've already kind of talked about that. The acting overall is fantastic. Like you feel like these guys are actually firefighters.
Yeah.
They don't seem out of place at any point in the movie.
I almost feel like they threw a couple of actual firefighters in there.
There
too.
probably were.
It seems.
I mean, I assume they shot on location in Chicago because it's clearly Chicago in the background.
Some of the guys that like had like one-liners.
Yeah.
It seemed like those guys were actually like firefighters.
Yeah.
Like the big guy in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
He don't seem like an actor. He seemed like
Yeah, Jack McGee's also in this. I couldn't remember his name. I just remember as Jerry Riley from Rescue Me.
Yeah.
He like plays a firefighter in this movie. He was the chief in Rescue Me for at least a few seasons at least. I don't remember where he ended in that show. But that guy is like a perfect Chicago firefighter.
Perfect.
He has the look and the accent and everything. That's another thing.
Man,
Accent work by
Russell.
Kurt Russell.
It was in and out.
It's a it's a Kevin Costner accent.
Yes.
Where occasionally it's English, but not also sometimes.
That's
it's
a
like,
perfect way to put it.
It's
The
Kurt
Costner-
Russell's accent sometimes, and
The
it's like
Costner accent.
he pushes the Chicago accent sometimes. But it doesn't really take away from the film because
No.
honestly, if you're just watching the movie, you're not going to notice that his accent changes from scene to scene. There's that scene with him and Rebecca De Mornay on the roof of the house, where his accent's it's just Kurt Russell, then he's back on the fire truck and it's the complete Chicago accent that he's going for there. And none of it's fantastic, but it's Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. I mean, he's great in everything he does. But yeah, Backdraft, great movie. I mean, I can't complain about this movie.
We picked some decent stuff.
Yeah, we got 2 good ones tonight for sure.
Oh yeah.
So rating, we'll get to rating. So I'm at 4 stars on this because it does have some problems.
Yeah,
it's not the greatest movie. There's some bad CG. There's some silliness to it, but it's a theme of this 1990 to 1995 thing. Fun,
and it's still
it's fun and also not fun.
Yeah,
it's a 4-star for me.
Oh yeah, I'm totally with you on 4. It drags in the middle.
It does a little bit.
This movie could have been 15 minutes less.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I'll give it a 4.
Yep. So 4 stars.
Solid.
It's a 4-star. It's
Solid.
a solid film. Everybody should do Backdraft. And apparently there's Backdraft 2. We might have to do that at some point.
We're going to have to watch Backdraft 2.
Apparently Billy Baldwin's in that one.
Yeah.
From the little trailer we watched. So
it's good. Justified by the trailers. We're going to get the kid.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be Stephen McCaffrey's kid.
McCaffrey's, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so that is Backdraft. 4 stars from both of us. Yeah. And that's all we got.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. All right, we'll see you next time on Basement Movie Room.
If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Cheers.